Welcome to Nin, Dr. Feelgood. Hope you're excited. We've got our own opposing Nin across. It's always fun matchups like this. Now, as far as opening hand goes, yes, I love it. We have 3 lands in the hand. We have Young Pyromancer. I will definitely keep on this one. Let's get this popped up. I know. Welcome. I always enjoy Nin versus Nin, or at least any sort of commander versus commander. Our opponent's on the play, so we're going to go and let them do their thing. We're playing Nin, the Painhunters. Nin, Dr. Feelgood. Going to be activated ability, blue-red. Nin deals X damage to target creature. That creature's controller draws X cards. Now, we'll see what sort of build our opponent has. This particular build of Nin is a little bit more of kind of a spellslinger deck, and always really enjoy playing this one. Let's go and get down Wooded Foothills. Let's go and we don't need to crack it just yet, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing against Nin. I'm not going to read it again, so hopefully you can remember what I explained. But yes, this is the first video that I'm recording since I've gotten back from Boulder, and I'm really excited to be back and recording. It's really nice, kind of having a nice little vacation, and opponent's going to get down Nin. I meant to crack Wooded Foothills while we were talking, but that's okay. So let's go and crack Wooded Foothills, and then we'll kind of jump into vacation talk in just a second. So let's go and grab Volcanic Island, have that come into play. Let's go and go for Island. And then, yeah, I think I like going for Nin. I think that sounds good. I guess technically if they wanted to, they could pop Nin, but that'll give us some card draw. Yeah, we'll go and get down Nin. And then anything else, we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. But yes, so I've been on vacation. If you hadn't noticed, had some spin the wheels on, kind of on, not repeat, but in... whatever you want to call it. Just had a bunch of spin the wheels going on. It's always fun doing that. But as far as Boulder goes, if you didn't know, I went to Boulder. I was on vacation. My wife ran a 70.3 Ironman, which is half of an Ironman. And so they're going to target Nin. That's okay if we get a card draw. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Drawn to Brass's Bounty. So she ran a half Ironman, and that was a really cool experience to go for that. She actually finished, so that was really good. And let's go and get down Island. And let's go ahead and go for... Let's get down Fellwar Stone. I think I'm okay with that one. Yeah, let's go tap out for Fellwar Stone. We're going to get that down. And then anything else that we're going to go for. We could go for Young Pyromancer, and they could go for another activation, giving us another card draw. Which I'm not above that. Yeah, let's go and get down Young Pyromancer, and they'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. But yeah, so my wife has been training for a half Ironman for about 5 months now. And then last weekend was when we went to Boulder and got to run it. And so she did it. She's not a podium finisher or anything like that. She was mainly just going for kind of a completion, and she definitely finished. And it took about 7 or 8 hours, which is just really imagine that just doing some form of biking or running or swimming for 8 hours, which is just absolutely crazy when you stop and think about it. It's going to get down Desolate Lighthouse, and then we do have Young Pyromancers. Anything that we're going to do as far as Nin goes, they're not going to be able to go for an activated ability. I think I like going for. They can go for the -3 with Chandra if they want to. I think I kind of like going for Geist Blast off of Nin the Pain Artist. That way they can't get into any really good card draw. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go for Geist Blast on Nin. That way they have no mana. And I guess if we want to, we can go for... We can go for Twin Cast on Geist Blast if we wanted to. That's going to give us an additional token. Yeah, let's go and do that. That way we can send that target up to Chandra too and deal that extra damage. I think I like going for that one. Okay. And let's go ahead and choose Chandra on this one. All right, so we're going to have 2 damage being dealt to Chandra, knock her down to 3, take care of Nin the Pain Artist, end up with a Young Pyromancer on the battlefield, and also allow us to go and swing in for 2. So let's go and do that, swing in at Chandra, knock her down to 2, and then anything else we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. But yes, if you don't know anything about Iron Man, so long story short, you start off with a swim. I can't remember the exact distance, but she swam for about 50 minutes, which is a pretty long time to be swimming. So it was at the Boulder Reservoir, and the way they had it set up is they had some kind of like these inflatable kind of cones in a way. And so you'd swim out in this triangle, reach the tip, and then you'd swim back into the shore. Consecrated Sphinx. Now, we can't go for Rite of Replication on that one. I think that'll be pretty good. How much mana do we have? We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with the land drop, 7 next turn. Yeah, we're pretty far away from that Rite of Replication kick, but I like getting down our own Consecrated Sphinx. That'll be a lot of fun. Let's go and get down Reliquary Tower. Let's go that way. You know, our opponent doesn't have Reliquary Tower out there. That way, if we do start drawing a ton of cards off our own copy, I'll end up with a pretty good. End up with a lot of cards in the hand. Let's go and go for Rite of Replication on Consecrated Sphinx. It's going to be 1, 2. And we'll get that elemental token on the battlefield. And you know what? Let's go ahead. We can swing it with both elementals on Chandra. That'll at least knock her down. If we want to lose young Pyromancer, we can at least take care of Chandra right now. And I think I like going for that. So let's go and push in with the whole crew. We're going to send everybody in at Chandra. That way, we'll more than likely see Consecrated Sphinx block on young Pyromancer. But that's not going to be the end of the world, because hopefully we can get some pretty good card draw going and then kind of storm our way out of this one. And then kind of go from there. But yeah, so they did the swim first. The swim took about 50 minutes to swim, and then you get out of the swim transition, and that's when you get on the bike. And you have to swim 56 miles. You have to bike for 56 miles, and that is it's a long time to be biking. Getting all these yes, we're gonna use that ability. And I think actually with double Consecrated Sphinxes on the battlefield, it makes for let's see how we want to do. Actually, I may kind of speed this particular stack up. All right, there we go. So you have to bike for 56 miles, and that took her about 4 hours, which is a pretty good chunk to be riding the bike. And then after that, once you get done with the bike, you go for your half marathon, which is going to be 13 miles. So she ran 13 miles, and that took about 2 to 3 hours to kind of knock that out. So it's pretty much an all-day event, but it was really fun to kind of experience a lot of that. And opponent's going to get down Consecrated Sphinx trigger, and let's see what we draw into. Okay, opponent's going to go for Choking Tethers. Tap up to 4 target creatures. And then whenever you cycle it, that's just going to be 4 mana to tap them down. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. It's not the end of the world on that. If we wanted to, we can go for Reverberate, tapping down their creature if we wanted to. But do we need to tap that down that bad? Tap down their own Consecrated Sphinx. Now, I think we're okay on this one. Yeah, we're going to let that. We still have Dramatic Reversal, too, to kind of untap our creatures if we need to do that. Okay, so what we're going to do on this one, since our opponent's tapped out, I'm going to go ahead and draw a ton of cards, or at least how many cards we can draw with this stack, and I'll go and speed it up. Okay, so we drew out our entire library, so I'm going to try to make this pretty quick. Let's go ahead and grab Ancient Tomb. Let's go ahead and get that down. Let's go ahead and get our artifacts. I don't think we hit Paradox Engine somehow, which is something, it's going to be like the last 2 on there, which is kind of a bummer. Let's go ahead and get down... Let's get down Mana Crypt. Let's go ahead and get that down. Well, let's just double check. We basically drew into our entire library. Let's go ahead and get Nin just pulled up just a little bit. I'm going to try and do this live right now, not pause it while I do this. So let's go ahead and tap that down. Let's go ahead and get down Mana Vault. We're going to tap out for that 1 mana. And what we're going to do on this is we're going to try to get down as many of our mana rocks as possible and use that Dramatic Reversal to untap all of our artifacts. Let's just double check it real quick. Yeah, oh, no, excuse me. We do have Paradox Engine. So let's go and tap out for that. Let's get down Mana Vault. And then it was in our hand. Drew was one of the first cards we drew. Let's go and tap down Fellwar Stone. Let's go and get down Paradox Engine. And that's going to allow us to really kind of start tapping some extra mana going. Let's go ahead and let's go and grab Soul Ring. Soul Ring is somewhere. If you can see, we've got 2 cards left in the library, so this has definitely been an interesting match, and definitely shout out to our opponent for sticking this one out. We're going to be able to untap our non-land permanents, so let's go and get down Soul Ring. And then while we're doing that, let's go and tap out on 3, and let's go ahead and add that blue mana. So what we're going to end up doing is going for a really nice Red Sun Zenith. There's a few other ways that we could get this done, but I want to see if we can't get down some of our other mana rocks, and then kind of go from there. Let's go and get down Chromatic Lantern. That way we can take advantage of that, and we did tap down all of our stuff on that. If we wanted to, we could actually get into this weird spots where we go for an Overflowing Insight on our opponent, make them kind of draw out, but that could basically have a ton of different ways to get this done. So, and another thing that we could do is go for something like Insurrection. Let's go and tap this down, Fellwar Stone, go for Mana Vault, tap down Chromatic Lantern, let's go for that blue. Let's go and get down Thought Vessel. And we are looking at Storm Count 7 too. So one thing that we could do is go for an Insurrection, getting control of all of the creatures. So let's go and do that. Let's go and tap down the stuff again. Let's go and get down Pyromancer's Goggles, and what we can do to kind of speed this up, I thought about going for Empty the Warrens, and then let's actually tap this last mana down, and I think that might allow us to kind of get some pretty good stuff done. Let's tap down that last colorless mana. Let's go for Coalition Relic, Thought Vessel, Gilded Lotus for triple blue. Need to get a little bit more blue going. Then tap that down, tap down Monolith. Now, what we can do is we can go all the way back over here and grab, where are you? I saw Red Sun Zenith somewhere in here. So we can go for that Red Sun Zenith. There we go. So we can go for Red Sun Zenith. That will definitely be doubled off Young Pyromancer's Goggles, and that will allow us to go ahead and close the game out. So we're going to choose our opponent on this one. We're going to choose, use red off the Pyromancer's Goggles. That way it's doubled, and that'll be, X is going to be, could basically just tap out for the colorless mana and be an A-OK, but we're going to tap out for that one. There we go. If they've got a counterspell, it'll at least be copied off of that one. And that way, if they do have something like Force of Will, we can take advantage of that one. So let's go and make that copy. If we need to tap down a few more artifacts, we're going to keep the same targets. But we're looking at a Red Sun Zenith for 36, and that should take care of our opponent on this one. There we go. Knock our opponent down. Shout out to our opponent for sticking that one out. I know it's always kind of, when you get double consecrated Sphinxes on the battlefield, it always makes it kind of for an interesting match. And we're able to draw it in our entire library. You can definitely see where, well, we could pop back into the game state. But basically, long story short, once we get down Paradox Engine, we start casting some of our really quick artifacts, stuff like Mana Crypt, Soul Ring, and Mana Vault, that allows us to tap into a ton of mana. We had a few different ways that we could have taken advantage of that one if we wanted to go for that. Let's say we didn't draw into a ton of cards, but we still had Paradox Engine on the battlefield. We could have gone for Empty the Ward to get those Goblin tokens going, and then tapped out for something like Insurrection to be able to swing in with a bunch of hasty Goblins. There were numerous different ways to win with that one, but we valued our opponent time. They kind of were very thankful for sticking that one out, so I wanted to go for a quick little Red Sun Zenith. And even if they did have something like Force of Will drawing into half their library, with that Pyromancer's Goggles, that allowed us to kind of go for that. And then we had a few other backup spells like Insidious Will to take care of any sort of counter spells. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Nin, Dr. Feelgood. We're going to get Ghave in that doctor's chair and see if we can't make him feel a little bit better. But as far as opening hand goes, yeah, we're going to go and keep on this one. We have Wandering in the hand, we have Mountain, and we have Misty. So I definitely do like this opening hand. Let's go and lead off with Wandering. Yeah, I think that sounds good. I don't think we really need to go for Personal Tutor. No, that's fine. Let's go into Wandering down, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. But yes, welcome to Nin, Dr. Feelgood. And also, welcome back to the regular recording schedule. Feels really nice to get the headset back on and to be playing some Magic. I took, man, I didn't play Magic. I recorded the Nicol Bolas series on MTGO Traders. In fact, if you didn't see that, be sure and check it out. It's kind of fun. Went with a Super Friends build of Nicol Bolas, which is pretty cool. But that's up on MTGO Traders if you want to check it out. But yeah, I didn't play Magic for almost 2 weeks. It'll be this past Sunday, so it's kind of nice to really get a kind of a break from Magic. So, not that I don't enjoy Magic, but when you do a channel, let's go and get down Volcanic Island. Let's go for tap out for Nin. That's going to be blue and then red. Magic used to be what I would relax with, and so it kind of turns into a little bit of a job sometimes, but at the most part, it's kind of like when you have one of those jobs that if you enjoy it, you don't mind going to work, but it's always nice to kind of take a little bit of break from a Magic. And definitely that's what I did. So anyways, let's go jump into some of the commanders, and I'll talk about the vacation that I took. It was a lot of fun. So we were playing Nin the Pain Artist. So Nin does have an activated ability. It's going to deal X damage to target creature. That creature's controller draws X cards. Now, if you've not seen Nin Dr. Feelgood before, what we're doing is kind of just an Is It Spellslinger deck. As you can tell, we have stuff like Seething Song in the hand. We have a few Storm cards in here, and also pretty much one of our main win conditions is going to be Epic Experiment. That's always a lot of fun to get that down. Just kind of see what kind of shenanigans we can get into. Let's go and get down Mountain, and then we're going to get down Shahili Rye. I think that sounds good. Get the Scry going, the Scurry, the Insanity. Sounds good. Let's go and get down Shahili Ray. Let's go and go for the +1, deal 1 damage to each opponent. We're going to get that Scry going too. See if we can't set up this Temple of the False God. Rouse Zarek. Do we want that on top? You know, let's go and put that on the bottom for right now. See if we can't hit a land drop for the turn. Let's go and swing in for 1. Knock our opponent down to 27. And then that will be it for the turn. Replaying gets Ghave, Guru of Spores. Whenever Ghave enters the battlefield with 5 +1 counters on it. Then for 1 mana activation, remove a +1 counter from the creature you control. Create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. And then for another 1 mana activation, sacrifice a creature. Put a +1 counter on target creature. And we do have to watch out for Ghave because they can pretty much go infinite pretty quick. You know, get a few things on the battlefield, go for those activations, and end up with a lot of sapling tokens on the battlefield. So gotta watch out for that. But as far as my vacation goes, so we went to Boulder. My wife ran a Ironman, half Ironman. And if I splice this video together, you kind of heard about the Ironman, so I'm going to talk about more what we did in Boulder. But if I don't, it ends up being a longer video. Anyway, she ran a half Ironman, which is really cool to kind of see that get done. And then we draw to Shivian Reef. That is nice. Let's go and get that down. Do we want to go for a Nin activation? And what did they bring back? Eternal Witness brought back A flooded strand back to their hands. Let's go and cross that off. That way they can make the land drop for the turn. I was going to plus up on Shahili Ray. And actually, if we wanted to get some pressure on our opponent, we could go for Seething Song to kind of get some stuff on the battlefield, get down Locust God. I think I like that, because it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 6. Yeah, let's go and do that. Let's go and plus up on Shahili. Halimar Depths, we'll definitely, yeah, we'll go and put that, we'll go and put that on top. I'm okay with that one. We have Merchant Scroll to kind of shuffle it up just a little bit. Let's go and tap out for Seething Song. And let's go tap 1 blue mana and get down the Locust God. Okay, and then anything else? No, we're going to go kick the turn back over there. But yeah, so we went to Boulder, Colorado. She ran her half Ironman, and that was really cool. Now, as far as what we did outside of that one, it was a really nice, relaxing trip. We pretty much just, because we got there on Tuesday, and the Ironman was on Saturday, so there really wasn't a lot of, you know, we like to go hiking and different things like that, so we couldn't really go out hiking before her trip, before our Ironman, and so we just kind of did a lot of lounging around. We stayed at this really, really nice Airbnb. It was about 10 minutes outside of Colorado, outside of Boulder, and man, it was just really nice. It was just kind of, it was really kind of cool to see this house in at least in Boulder, because it had this really nice kind of southern porch that wrapped around all the way around the house, and what we ended up staying in was, I guess, what you consider the ranch hand's house or something like that. It was probably about the size of, I don't know how to describe it. It had a bed in there, and it had a bathroom, and it had pretty much just like a microwave and a small little refrigerator. It's not something that would be, I'd consider an apartment, but it's about something that you could comfortably, 2 people would be able to kind of sleep in. And so that's what we stayed in, and it was really beautiful, really nice. And then let's go and get this turn going. I'll kind of talk a little bit more about that one. Get that insect token on the battlefield. Do we want to plus up on Shahili? Yeah, let's go and do that. Let's go and plus up. Get the Arcanist. So I'm going to put that on the bottom for right now. Let's go and get down Temple of the False God. And do we just want to tap out for Nin? That's going to be 4 off this insect token. I think I like that, so let's go and go for that. Okay, so we're going to draw 4 cards. Let's go and yield to this Locust God trigger. All right, look at that. Look at that value. Let's go and swing across for 8 in the air, knock our opponent down to, knock him down to 16, and then we'll kick the turn back over to them. But yeah, so we stayed at this really cool house. They had 2 horses. They had probably about 5 or 6 chickens on their property. They had beehives, which is really cool. What else did they have? They had 2 dogs, Murphy and Frankie, so shout out to Murphy and Frankie. I know they're dogs, but maybe they watch magic videos in their spare time. But yeah, so shout out to them, and they were really cool dogs. They really helped us relax too. And they had an absolutely beautiful backyard, so if we weren't in our little house or whatever, we would definitely kind of swing over to we would just kind of sit out in the backyard and just kind of hang out with Frankie and Murphy. They're really cool. In fact, I may kind of post a picture of Frankie and Murphy up on the video here in a second. But yeah, other than that, it was a really cool place, and I'll kind of talk about a little bit more about inside of Boulder here in a second. What are we going to go for? So we're looking at Mirari's Wake on the battlefield. That's a pretty good chunk of mana from our opponent. We do have Howl of the Horde, but unfortunately, we're not really going to be able to take advantage of it at this point right now. Let's go and get down Scalding Tarn. I think that would be okay. Yeah, let's go and get on Scalding Tarn. I kind of want to get some pretty good card draw going if possible. If we tap out for Nin, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we don't have Reliquary Tower. I like kind of going for that, though. So let's go and crack Scalding Tarn. Let's go and grab an island off of that one. Let's go and go for a Nin activation on one of our insect tokens. Ooh, there we go. Drawn to Mana Crypt. Let's go and yield to the Locust God. Get a few more insects on the battlefield. And let's go and push across on this one. That's going to be right at 13 coming across, put them down to 3. And then anything else we're going to go for, we can go for Mana Crypt if we wanted to, but we're just going to go and pass the turn. Maybe we can get some sort of Storm Count going for next turn, especially since it is 0 converted mana cost. Let's go and get rid of Halimar Depths. Let's go and get rid of City of Brass. I'm going to get rid of Care Keep since we do have a ton of tokens on the battlefield. And then we'll go ahead and put Geist Blast into the graveyard. I guess technically we could use Geist Blast in addition to Howl of the Horde as a damage spell. So actually, let's go and get rid of Arcanist, and then we'll go ahead and get rid of, at this point right now, go ahead and get rid of Steam Augury. Okay, we'll go pass the turn to our opponent. Hopefully see if we can't get past this one. But yeah, so we stayed at that nice little Airbnb, really nice place. And then as far as stuff within Boulder, we went to Boulder 2 years ago, so we got a lot of our hiking out 2 years ago. Did a lot of hanging around. So we got there on Wednesday. On Thursday, she did some... I think she did bike check-in on Thursday. No, that's what it was. So Thursday, she kind of had their athletes meeting, and so I pretty much had a free day that day. I went to Time Warp Comics. Let me double check that real quick. Yeah, Time Warp Comics in Boulder. So if you play at that local gaming store, shout out to y'all. It was really cool to kind of go out there. Our opponent's going to scoop it up. All right, so we do have insects in the air, but I'll go and finish what I was talking about. So I went to Time Warp Comic. That was really cool. I've been getting into some comics recently, and so I stopped by there, got some cool comics to read, and then I just basically just sat in our Airbnb and read comics all day, and that was just so absolutely nice. I enjoyed every second of that one. She got done with her athletes meeting probably around 4 or 5 o'clock. We had dinner that night. Then on Friday we went to Pearl Street, and if you don't know about Pearl Street's a really cool shopping, kind of a shopping street within Boulder, and so we went down there, just kind of looked at all the cool shops. They have a lot of really unique shops there too. So we did some shopping on Friday. Saturday she ran her half Ironman, which was took all day, man. That shout out to my wife. That was a very grueling thing to kind of go through, and so that was all day Saturday. And then Sunday was just kind of her rest day. We ended up driving up one of the mountains to kind of the scenic overlook and had a really nice picnic. That was really nice. And then that was Sunday. And then on Monday, that's when we actually had it split up to where I live in Dallas, so it's about a 13-hour drive from Boulder to Dallas. And the way we had it split up was we were going to drive about halfway on Monday, stay somewhere, maybe kind of drive into New Mexico, and then drive the rest of the way on Tuesday. And so we just both wanted to have, we didn't have to go back to work until Wednesday, and so we just decided to, I got up around, I'm definitely I'm an early morning person, and my wife is not. And so I said, why don't we just knock the drive out in one day? And so I got up at about 4:45, and we drove from 5 until about 8 o'clock. And then we got to our house on Monday. And then we had a completely full day on Tuesday just to do nothing and relax and kind of get the house in check and get our laundry in check too. But yeah, other than that, that was my vacation. A lot of fun. And like I said, there's another NIN video I recorded where we talking about the Iron Man, so you got to hear about that one. And you can see where we're going to be able to swing across with the insect tokens. But look how just nice that is with Nin the Pain Artist and the Locust God. You blast one of those tokens, draw those cards, get a few more insect tokens on the battlefield. It makes for a really nice game win. You can see we're able to outrace a Mirari's Wake, so that's always nice to kind of outrace that one, and especially beat Ghave when they get those get some of those infinite tokens going, or any sort of infinite combos. But that's gonna be it for the video. That's enough rambling. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.